All right, I'm here with Susan. I'll tell you what, Susan, one of my favorite people on campus because you always have a smile on your face. So
Oh,
almost always, I think 99% of the time. So I am excited to talk to you today. Why don't you tell us about kind of your journey here at Cornerstone? You've got a unique one that's very similar to some of the last few interviews that I've done, that you're a Cornerstone grad. So talk about your time here as a student and then transitioning into your current role as the director of campus ministries.
yeah, thanks, Aaron. Yeah, so I visited campus, did the whole senior college visit to Cornerstone. I remember distinctly the weather was like absolutely terrible, but I loved it here and I haven't left.
Yeah.
Actually, Nick and I were just joking the other night. I literally, for the past 11 years, have lived on campus except for 1 year. My senior year, I lived on campus. So I truly have been here ever since.
I like her.
Yeah, right.
And
So
where are you from? Like what part
I'm from
of
Kentwood, so not
oh,
all that far away from campus. Yep, grew up in Kentwood, but lived on campus for my first 3 years of college, and then moved off campus senior year, and then came back as I was the RD of Keithley for 3 years in my role, and then did chapel along with that. I actually oversaw chapel attendance, which Joanne Bignall, bless her, that's not the fun job on campus.
oh,
So
I
it was
remember
helpful.
I remember when I was a student, it's so different. These students now have no excuse for not getting their chapel credit in.
Helen,
We,
Aaron, and it's
we
going down
had
again. We
we
took it
had
down again.
we had 45. We had 45
Whoa.
chapels offered, and we had to go to 41 of them.
Whoa.
And if we
Yeah.
missed, we got some serious fines. And as it went along, it got a little bit lesser, and a little bit less. And so, and we had you could do a small group for like 10 chapels. You could do prayer and praise was started by a couple of our classmates, which is now Evensong. And so it changed over the years. But I remember 41 of 45 as a freshman, and I was
That's a lot.
it was a lot.
That's a lot.
So sorry I interrupted you there, but yeah,
No, that's all right. That's all right.
no
So then
excuse for not getting them.
yeah, so then 3 years in, moved to one of the houses that Cornerstone owns. Nick and I got married, and I took on discipleship instead of Keithley. So have ever since then kind of been doing chapel and discipleship, which really includes small groups and mentoring in some of our bigger campus ministry events that we do. So that's kind of been the journey.
That's awesome. You brought up Nick, so that's kind of a unique story there too. Just you fell in love with a person here at Cornerstone. You got married. You also worked a little bit with Nick in the same realm over at student development. Tell us about that journey for you guys during your time.
Yeah. So Nick is 2 years younger than me, and so we met technically in Corral with Dr. Walters. So that was fun. We didn't really get to know each other super well until we interned together, actually, over the summer at Maranatha Bible and Missionary Conference in Muskegon. We were on a worship team together, and then came back, and I had just graduated. So I started on staff that summer, and Nick was still a student. And so kind of one of the funny pieces of that whole story is that I think Nick asked Gerald if we could date before he talked to my parents. Gerald and other CU administration had to give the stamp of approval, and yeah, it was a fun time. But so then after he graduated, he continued on as the grad assistant for worship for a few years. So we worked together overseeing chapel teams, which was fun. Always fun at the end of the year when someone would suddenly realize, like, wait, you guys are married? So apparently we were good about separation of work and personal boundaries. But yeah, so he worked at the seminary this past year in the bookstore and kind of transitioned to something new, and is transitioning to something new again now. But it's been a fun couple of years here for the both of us together, and very much all revolving around Cornerstone.
Yeah, so you've probably got a ton of memories of Cornerstone. You're still living, you're still making moments which become memories. What is one memory that you let's go to your time as a student. What's one memory of your time as a student that you just really cherish and will take with you probably for the rest of your life?
Oh, that's a good a good question. So like funny memory, well, the first one that's coming to mind is a funny memory. My section, I think it was my freshman year, saran wrapped the clock tower as a prank. I don't know why we did, but we did. So that's coming to mind. I also remember the basketball championship, watching that in the gymnasium. That was huge. Outside of that, I don't know if there's one specific memory. I just have a lot of memories of really great times with my friends, kind of largely within the chapel ministry. Just so many great moments of discipleship together, reading God's word together. Just lots of encouragement there. So it's a little hard for me to pick like one standout moment memory, but yeah.
Sure. Definitely. Well, let's transition a little bit to, I'm going to talk sports for a little bit.
Okay.
Not every person that I interview that I get the chance to have a conversation with loves sports. That's okay. What is your favorite sport, though?
Okay. Well, I would answer this a couple different ways, depending on if we're talking like watching, playing, etc. So I went to a small Christian school growing up. And so in middle school, like everyone kind of had to be on all the sports teams in order to like have a sports team.
Yeah. Yep.
So I actually did play quite a lot of sports in middle school. I would say my favorite to play is volleyball. That carried on actually into my internship at Maranatha. We had a staff team that was very competitive and was a ton of fun. And now that I think about it here too, a couple years ago, we had a student development team for intramurals, which was crazy fun. So to play would be volleyball. To watch, probably on TV would be football, not necessarily because I'm in love with football, but because any of my like watching of sports is for social reasons. And Nick's dad is a huge Ohio State fan, and my dad is a Michigan fan. Yeah. So it's amazing that we were allowed to get married, I guess. But I think just because of that, socially, that's the sport I see the most on TV. And then in person, I really like watching probably soccer and volleyball. Those would be
interesting.
My favorites. Yep.
What makes your father-in-law an Ohio State fan? Is he from Ohio or?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So we need to get to know each other. I got to get to know this father-in-law of yours, Nick's dad.
Yeah. Well, so I think if I'm remembering this story correctly, hopefully Dr. Stoll won't be mad for me outing him, but I think when Nick was here, Dr. Stoll bought spray paint for Nick to paint the rock with the Ohio State logo on around some like big game, probably the weekend of the Michigan and Ohio State game. So I think that's how the story went. I might be remembering wrong, but.
And Dr. Stoll is a pretty strong Ohio State fan, mainly because of his wife. She is a diehard Ohio State fan. So yeah, we get along really well in that regard.
That makes sense.
All right, so little fast, rapid pace. We'll go here. Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite vacation spot?
Oh, wow. Anywhere where there's beach.
Favorite movie?
You've Got Mail.
Oh, wow. Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. Wow.
Yeah.
Mail. Good old AOL, You've Got Mail, right?
Yeah.
That's an old one.
Yeah.
Let's go favorite. You already said favorite car, or you already said favorite color. What's the favorite car you've had?
Oh, I've had like two.
Okay. Well, let's go one of those two.
Let's see. I'll go with my first car. I named it Nellie. It was a teal blue Chevy Cavalier.
Chevy. And you need a Deli or Nellie?
Nellie.
Okay.
Yep.
I like it.
Yep.
This could be a little difficult for you. If you were stuck on an island for the rest of your life with one person, not your husband, that works at Cornerstone, who would it be?
That works at Cornerstone. That's a really fun question.
Could get you in some trouble here, but.
I saw you ask this question to Katie. So I was thinking about it.
Oh.
First of all, I think it would be super fun to like throw the entire student development department on a deserted island and just like see what happened, like full on Survivor. I think that'd be a really great reality show because we have so many fun personalities.
That would be fun.
So I think I'm going to go with Ken Russell because, first of all, we have a great working relationship. We have a lot of fun together. And yeah, just lots of support and encouragement there, which I think would be important being stuck on an island. But also, he is so well read that I've got to believe that he's read something that would get us off that island. Like, we wouldn't be stuck there for life. He would just figure it out.
He would figure it out because he had read a book on how to get off a deserted island.
He's read on everything. Like, he's got to have read on that.
Yeah, that's so good. I wouldn't have thought of it that way, but I know he's very smart, and so he would definitely figure out a way to get off. That's a good point.
Yep.
All right. Last thing, and we'll go a little more serious. We're in this thing. We're still in this thing. I've said that for 4.5 months now. But just maybe just a word of encouragement to our students and to our staff and faculty that are hopefully coming back here pretty soon and going to get back to normal, I guess. But what's an encouragement that you can give them?
Yeah, that's a great question. This season has been really hard, man. I'm a planner. I love planning. I have to be well planned to run chapel. There's a lot of details that go into that. So I think in this season, I have definitely been very aware that I can plan all I want and it's not going to go how I think it is. And so it's reminded me a lot actually of one of my favorite verses in Proverbs 16, where it's been one of my favorite verses since high school, honestly, where it says that we all plan in our hearts, we plan our own courses, but the Lord is the one to actually determine our steps. So we think we know the outcome, but God's the one actually guiding us along. And so I guess that would be my encouragement to our community, is to let the Lord guide those steps, make the plans as you need to, be smart about things, but truly let the Lord guide you and have comfort and trust in that. I know it's hard some days more than others. I've certainly felt that myself, but that would be my encouragement.
For sure. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining me. Yeah. I will definitely know some new knowledge now about Nick and Ohio State. And about you the next time the clock tower gets wrapped in bubble wrap, whatever it is. We're going right to the student development and ministry office. It's definitely your fault. So thank you so much, Susan.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. See ya.